head to our next one. So we've seen some new Gene Stealers. We've seen some new Gaunts.
Yes.
What are we gonna see now?
Some slightly bigger stuff.
Ooh. Is it a big model? Ooh, Lictor. Heck yeah. Ooh. Ooh. I like these guys. Ooh. Whoa. Gross. I like these guys. Leap into battle.
So, Lictors obviously have been a big part of the Tyranid force pretty much since they've been with us in Warhammer 40,000.
Yes.
But it's not just one new Lictor we've got.
Yeah, it looks
for
like
this
there's
new
two.
edition. Already, we've seen the Von Ryan's Leapers, which we saw in the Leviathan box set and the starter sets for Warhammer 40,000. We also have Classic Lictor.
Yes.
So,
Yay.
Alex, what are these guys about?
So the Lictor is basically, it's sort of the original Vanguard organism. The Lictors would show up on different planets. They've got chameleonic skin, so they can blend in, hide. They can assassinate key targets, cause a bit of mayhem. But they can also, you can see there with the feeder tendrils, that say they've killed the commander. Pop off the head, eat the brain, get some information, send it back to the Hive Fleet. And then they're the equivalent of, say, assassins and scouts. So you've got the lay of the land, you've got some information.
They're really hard to kill.
Trouble. So these guys, they scout well ahead, sort of in the same way that Gene Stealers do, but the outcomes are very different.
Yeah, so you'd have a few of these.
Yep.
Once you've basically got a few Lictors on your they also send that kind of call out, don't they?
I love this paint scheme. That is... Oh my god. If you came across that in real life, that's a pants change right there. Sorry, chat. I'm just really admiring these models right now. Like, I really like that. I love this. Oh. I just hope these models aren't a pain in the ass to put together.
The Hive Fleet. So they tend to kind of somehow infiltrate into the planet ahead of time. If there's lots of juicy biomass, they'll scout it out, not just calling the fleet in, but also kind of getting key intel, literally pulling information out of the minds of enemy commanders and things.
It's often one of the troubles when you've got, say, a planet that's been invaded, you've got lots of refugees coming off the planet. There's always that fear that there's going to be either a Lictor hidden on board, chameleonized in the hold, or there's going to be some Gene Stealers on board. And I'm honestly not sure which is worse.
Yeah, so they've some options in the kit as well, which you can see there. So the first Lictor we saw, very kind of, I suppose, poised and ready to pounce with the arms out. This one in the Behemoth colour scheme is much more kind of crouched. So this one looks like it's mid-stealth sort of thing. So you can imagine them tucked into the shadow in a rock somewhere, or kind of scouting around the edge of a building. They're quite big models, so these are slightly bigger than Tyranid warriors, so they're standing taller than like a Terminator or something. So even one Lictor jumping onto a squad or something is usually enough to kind of take out a small infantry squad or threaten small vehicles and things like that. In game terms, they've got some really fun mechanics to kind of represent some of that stuff. So they get infiltrate, which means they can start kind of wherever they want to on the battlefield.
One of them's got a really
not
squeaky
anywhere, but
chair.
quite a lot of places. They have strike first, which means that even when they get charged, they get to kind of fight you first. They've got lone operative, which means they're quite hard to pick out and target. They've got stealth, which means they're harder to hit. They've got precision on their weapons, so that means that when they fight an enemy unit, you could basically like pick out the commanders and eat those first, which is really cool. And then to go along with that, they've also got an ability that when you kill enemy characters, you gain command points, which basically represents you eating the brain of the commander and getting vital intel sort of thing. So all that cool lore that Lictors have always had is actually really well represented in the way that they play in the game now, which is really cool. But it's not just Lictors, we've got more cool stuff.
Yep, there's more of them.
This guy, so this is a Neurolictor. So this is a brand new thing. We've never seen this guy before. It is a new variant on the kind of Lictor genus. Alex, what do we know about Neurolictors?
So Neurolictors, yes, they're essentially a variant of the Lictor. And their deal is basically to sow terror and confusion. If anybody was on the Leviathan, the big Leviathan live we did, I did a bit of a reading that involved one of the Neurolictors, and one of the things they like to do in lore is, say you've got a battle line of troops, they'll spike them. Basically, it's referred to by the Imperials as the mark of the Neurolictor. And basically, a bunch of the guys on the battle line turn their weapons on their friends. They're panicked. They forget what they've seen. They might let other vanguard organisms through. Basically, it sows terror and confusion. And on the battlefield as well, if you're playing them on the tabletop, they can force enemy units to take battle shock tests, and if they fail the battle shock tests, some pretty dire things can happen.
Yeah, so it combos really nicely with some of the other abilities that you've got with Tyranids, that they do have a lot of kind of battle shock mechanics, don't they? So like, if you failed a battle shock, then X happens, and they've got other ways of making you take battle shock tests and having bonuses to hit or minuses to you if you've taken battle shock. And this is basically another unit that does some of that stuff.
So wait, is it? Okay, so that's a leg, and then I guess that's another leg. I thought the lower half was just like serpentine, because I was confused. Like, what is it? Is that like another claw? And then I got confused. Like, what is this thing back here? I don't know. That's just a weird angle. I'd like to see a 360 version of this model.
It also fights pretty well, so it's still a Lictor, so it's still got your kind of precision attacks and your infiltrating and your fights first and all that sort of thing. So it's another.
Okay, so we got
if you want to lean very heavily into the kind of Lictor.
Yeah, so it's got like a big serpentine tail, and then it does have legs. Okay, so I thought this thing was just like a big, like almost serpent. So that's pretty cool. I do like this model. It is neat. I just don't know what's going on with this. Oh, okay, that makes more sense now. I thought it was like another, just like limb, but it looks like it's got like a scorpion tail attached to the brain. All right.
Archetype and have multiple vanguard organism-y things in your army. Then this is a psychic tool that you can add to the already pretty horrible combat tools that you've got.
That's it.
So there he is in a cool color scheme there, just chowing down on some Drukhari. There you go. Yeah, but a very, very cool model. You can see the back of the model there. There's a weird kind of parasitic symbiote psychic thing. The more you look at the new Tyranid models, the more you find kind of weird psychic organism parasites and stuff. Like there's loads of. I've said before, like, you could absolutely paint them very quickly and just go, there's some bits that are purple and some bits that are bone color, or you can really spend your time and kind of paint all these weird little parasites and symbiotes and minor organisms in all sorts of different colors if you wanted to.
There's been a real expansion of kind of the psychic organisms with Leviathan's new.
A lot of brain, a lot of big
brain bugs.
Tyranids. Cool.
Good brain bugs, dead brain bugs.
This is a Death Leaper.
I like that one.
The reason we've brought him back is just to give you a piece of information about how the Tyranid army can work. So obviously we've got the Von Ryan's Leapers, we've got Lictors, we've got the Neurolictor, and if you wanted to as well, you've got the Imgal Gene Stealers, which you can give kind of lictory looking tentacle faces. One of the ways that you will be able to play the Tyranid army when the Codex releases is you can effectively make them a vanguard force. And what that does is it gives you a bunch of bonuses to your vanguard style organisms like Lictors and Death Leapers and Neurolictors, and you've got enough models now that actually you can kind of just have those if you want. If you just want a kind of mantis strikey weird army, you can absolutely do that. If you do that and you choose to take that kind of army, you can take Death Leaper as your general.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. So this guy basically is your vanguard commander, I guess, and he wraps up all the rest of those Lictor-style genus species under his banner into probably one of the most horrific armies to fight against in the entire galaxy. And that's
wouldn't that be fun to go against these guys?
He's basically an advanced Lictor, and instead of just doing the kind of Lictory stealth, hidey, chameleonic thing, this guy's all about terror. So if one of your commanders has been assassinated and you know it was a Lictor, it may very well have been this guy. He's going to leave corpses everywhere, he's going to devour heads.
Gross.
But as you say, there's a really nice balance between, say, having this chap leading your vanguard organisms, killing things left and right, regular Lictors going around, maybe damaging lines, but then at the same time the Neurolictor coming in, and your commander, if he's not been killed yet, he's going to go crazy. And you can imagine that once your command structure's gone, how easy it's going to be for the rest of the Hive to come in and wipe out everybody.
So yeah, very exciting stuff for Tyranny players. Some really interesting ways to approach that army too. I think also I have a treat for painters there as well.
Oh,
If you're going to go for kind of really lean into that kind of chameleonic style, there's lots of very interesting ways you could approach the paint scheme for that.
I would like to see that. That'd be pretty cool.
We're not
Right.
done yet. We've got some more
okay.
things. So we've seen the line troops, we've seen the strike troops, we've seen the infiltrating troops. They are going to need some fire support.
Yes.
So let's have a look at our next video.